Hey guys, how's it going today? So, I want to switch gears up a little bit for you. Instead of talking about what the problems definitely are with our current policing and our current policies as a nation here in the United States, I want to go and explore the solution. The solution is actually pretty simple. Prior to the 1980s, most cops that you would deal with for a city police department actually lived in the city that they were policing for. They lived in the neighborhoods. They shopped in the community. Their kids went to school with the neighbors. That kind of community goes and instills trust. If my neighbor is a police officer and there's a crime being committed, why would I not feel comfortable going to my neighbor? Why would I not believe that this local community cop that lives in the community wants what's best for the community? And that's a really deep question. And it goes to the heart of what's going on in our country right now. Most people say they distrust the cops. It's a sad but very true fact. The average American citizen does not believe that the blue has their best interest in mind. It's all about the bottom line, how many tickets they could write, how much money they could bring into the department, how many more cops they could bring in from other cities to go and run the streets. And that's when policing goes from a public service to a business. And that's where we are today. So, I started this out by saying that we were going to talk about solutions. So, let's take a step back in time. We're not even going to go that far back. Let's go to the 70s. In the 1970s, most cops that you would interact with in your small towns, you knew their first name. They knew you. They knew what was going on in their community. They knew what the problems were. They also knew what the solutions were. They knew that going and arresting the town drunk that gets drunk at the bar till 2 a.m. in the morning and then stumbles home, not causing a problem for anybody, just going from point A to point B, was not their biggest problem. They might offer him a ride home. They might make sure that he gets to his destination safely. Fast forward. You leave a bar. You've had one too many to drink. You're a mile from your house. You know that if you walk out of that bar and you go to walk home, that you are more likely to get a public intoxication and put into jail and have to pay absurd fines than if you get in your car and you spend that 60 seconds of dangerous driving. Because in that 60 seconds, you're less likely to get noticed by a cop than the 10 minutes it would take you to walk. That's a problem. The solution is local community policing. Police departments around this country should be incentivized for going and hiring cops that live in their neighborhoods, that live in their jurisdiction. Why is a cop from LA living in San Bernardino, or vice versa? Why does that cop live 2 hours away from the community that he's sworn to protect? What good is that for the community to embrace around, to go and stand behind. If you know the cops that work your streets, and I don't mean that you know them because they've been a cop that's worked in your town for the past 10 years, but they live 3 cities away. I'm talking about the cop that worked your town for the last 10, 15 years, lives 3 blocks down the road, goes to the same church as you, your kids go and play against each other in Little League. That's the kind of local community policing I'm talking about. Our boys in blue are important. They go and they create a constant in society to where if you go and you break the law, you know there's going to be a repercussion. It is what it is. It's needed. What is not needed is a cop that lives in one city that has to deal with XYZ problems coming to another city that has ABC problems. 2 different problems. So let's say you live in Compton. You know, you've lived in the same neighborhood for the past 30 years. You've watched gang violence. You've watched the opioid crisis firsthand. You've watched neighbors be shot. You've watched just about everything under the sun. And you wake up at 6 in the morning and you put on your uniform. You put that shiny badge on. And then you go to a city like Rancho Cucamonga. Very low gang violence, very low crime overall. But you bring that mentality of Compton to the city that you're working in. That if you're a person of color, or you're too skinny, or you don't drive a nice enough car, you don't fit in the neighborhood, that you're obviously a criminal. That's the problem with community policing not existing anymore. Have you ever asked yourself, why is the sheriff elected and not appointed? I mean, honestly, think about it. A police chief is appointed by the mayor. The police commissioner of New York, which is higher than a chief, is appointed by the mayor. The sheriff is elected by the people. A sheriff, in order to run for election, has to live within the county borders in order to run to be the sheriff of that jurisdiction. Why is that? It's because that sheriff needs to be a part of his community. The community needs to be able to say, I believe in this person. But that's not happening anymore. We have one elected official for policing. There's a disconnect between current policing and their communities. So what's the solution? We incentivize. If you live in Oklahoma City, we're going to incentivize for you coming out of high school and college to go and take the local police exam, to go to the academy, and then to protect the community you grew up in. Now, I'm not saying that means that you could only be in that community. I'm just saying if you're going to go and work in that community, and you're going to police and you're going to uphold the standards for that society, then obviously you need to be a part of that community. And it can't be a 9 to 5. You can't be a part of a community just during working hours. You need to be a part of that community 24/7. You need to live and breathe what is best for your community. Now, I'm the first to admit, not all cops are bad. For every bad cop, there's probably 5 great cops that go above and beyond the line of duty, that go above and beyond to serve their communities, to do what's best for their communities, to pick up their communities and help them thrive. But 9 times out of 10, that bad cop is not going to be from the community. What we need to do as a nation is we need to petition our city, our state, and our federal leaders to go and push the Community First initiative. The Community First initiative is, let's build America back from the bottom up. And I'm not talking classes. I'm talking from the city to the state to the federal level. If we don't build our cities first, our states are going to crumble, and then our federal government has nothing to govern. We need to build back our communities. We need to go and show the world why everybody wants to live in America. And it's not because we have these tyrants in charge that go and push their authority. No. We need to show it's because our community takes care of its own. Our community knows what's wrong and takes steps to go and fix the problems head on. That our communities are more important than the government. I know I just spoke a blasphemy, but it's the truth. I'm going to leave this short because there's no need to go any deeper at this point in time. But like, subscribe, follow my channel. Leave me comments on what you think the problem is and the disconnect and the reason for the disconnect between communities and police departments. I'm looking for my next topic for my next video, and I'd love some ideas from you guys. Until then, it's T-Dog. Watch your 6, remember your rights.